If she is even remotely as good as the first two justices that he put on the court, I hope Senate rams her through. What was the 37 days till election?
37.
Okay, I hope they have her by Tuesday at about 4 o'clock. I hope she's the Supreme Court justice.
Sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
more alarming, some media outlets publish these things simply are true without checking facts first.
And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Hey everyone, Dave here, December 1773, and as always, be sure to push the bottom right of the screen to subscribe and be part of December Nation. We're quickly growing, our videos are getting more and more views, we're getting more and more followers, so this is cool stuff. You don't want to miss out on any of this. This is the weekly show, and with me, as always, I do have Ryan. And Ryan is not outside today.
Mobile studio today.
Ryan is mobile.
Mobile studio. I hope next week to have a more permanent space, and obviously with the weather change coming, I'm gonna probably need it. So look forward to that next week. Hopefully,
Inside will be nice. He'll be Wi-Fi'd up.
I'll have a curtain. I'll have a flag.
Marco.
Podcast backdrop.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. So I wanted to open the podcast this week with I got a new job this past week. I'm going on my second week on Monday here, and it's a union job. It's a manufacturing job. I'm a saw operator, so basically I just run this machine, and it's a union place. Now, it's funny to me. You always hear of unions about their benefits and like why all of these pros to union about competitive wages, affordable health care, retirement plans, and worker representation in the workplace, and all these perks that we hear about. And I went to the first, my first 2 days of orientation. They had union stewards in there telling us everything. I got my contract. I had signed up. I have a 90-day probation period, and then after that, I become a member of the union after paying dues.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think to myself, it's all great and everything, but are they sustainable? Because there's a reason that unions go under, and it's either because of, we'll say greedy businessmen that want to squash unions, or the unions, take more than they're really contributing in some ways, or for whatever reason, they just dissipate. They have a collective bargaining. They dissolve whatever. But is it sustainable? I don't know how long the union that I'm going to be a part of has been in the game and been a union. But I will say it really made me think about how when you work in a union, you basically stand on the shoulders of the people that came before you. Because those people went on strike. Those people fought basically to get you 3% raise every year in your contract.
Yeah.
They fought for your wages. They fought for your health care. And I don't know. It's empowering, right? Like knowing that I have to be responsible too. If I work there long term, if I'm in this union long term, I'll have to fight for the rights of people that come after me, as if the people that came before me. And that really makes me wonder about at what point do these unions either crumble from the inside or they get crumbled from the outside, But basically, everything so far so good. Looks great with the job and the union. So, no bad talk there or nothing. But it is it was interesting to me to think about that. Just the historical lens that unions provide you.
Yeah. Yeah, I have my theory on unions. It kind of depends whether or not it's a public or private sector. I mean, if it's in the government, I mean, when we're talking about teachers unions or police unions, I am about as against them as you could possibly be, because I have an issue with two things. One, the union kind of holding taxpayers hostage. I mean, when you see teachers go on strikes, really all that's happening is unions are going after taxpayers for more money, and then the kids are kind of left there like, I just need to go to school, and then they all become kind of pawns of the game. And then with police unions, my big issue, I'm a huge believer that police unions are a big reason that police brutality kind of goes on. And it's not that the unions, encourage police brutality, but it's the fact that unions tend to protect the unions protect all workers. It protects the best workers, but it protects the not so good workers. The ones they're all in the union together. So there's that. Now, when it comes to the private sector, if an employer and employees agree to terms on, and they unionize and whatever, and everybody's in agreement, then fine. It's just mutual. Everybody's happy. I think it's dangerous. I think unions can kind of overstep their boundaries. They can kind of go a little too far. Sometimes they drain the company a little bit. There's got to be a happy medium that's played. When you look at, let's say like the automotive industry, the unions have played a big role in the downfall of General Motors, and not just General Motors, but Ford and Chrysler as well. Some of these companies, when their employees go, strike. And earlier this year, GM I think their employees had a strike, and it was impossible to get parts for their cars and to move everybody forward. And really, again, there's pawns in the game. All these people who just drive around Chevrolets and GMCs, they're left with broken cars because somebody's playing a game trying to get more money, and then it goes both ways. There's other people trying to save some money. So I don't know. I think unions, they can be a good thing. They have to be. It all depends on the situation.
Yeah, I personally, firsthand, I know you in the dealership game, but I worked at a GM dealership during the GM strike earlier this year, and yeah, it was like 30 days to get like an oil filter. Like oil filters were selling on eBay for like, people were going to Walmart buying oil filters and selling them online for GM cars because there was none being made. Just this scarcity and everything else. But yeah, I thought it was kind of cool to think about. We talk on here about history and not knowing history, and that's kind of what the union reminded me of, was this this moment in history to realize where you came from, where you're going, kind of your plan. And so I'm hoping good things. Like I said, so far good. But yeah, other than that, that was my personal story for the week. I got a couple notes here if you want to start diving into your headlines. Headlines.
We can dive into headlines. I like headlines. I said this last week.
Yeah.
We have one segment on the show, but this is my favorite of those segments. Let's dive into it. Headlines. I think I sent this to you. Lawsuit demands all Epstein flight logs be made public. Jeffrey Epstein friends, in quotes, panicking.
Whoa.
So the flight logs are a weird thing. Can I tell you why?
Why? Because there's
everyone seems to talk about who was on the flight logs, and yet they've never been made public. How does everyone know who's been on the flights?
Yeah, do they know something we don't?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't doubt for a second Bill Clinton was on the flights to Little Saint Jeffrey. I don't doubt he was on the flights 20 times or whatever people say. But if the logs haven't been made public, how do people know? Has it been leaked? Is that the assumption?
Well, I wonder. Yeah, like between the photos that have been leaked from some of these females that have come forward. I wonder how they build that information up.
Yeah. I'm going to guess it's
don't
leaks.
worry about an island that's rigged for pedophile behavior. Don't worry about it.
No.
I'm sure right after Election Day, we'll be okay.
Yes. Do you think we'll stop talking about... let's assume Biden wins. Do you think we stop talking about Epstein? Not us personally, but like...
No, because
the
I think
media.
Epstein's a distraction then. I mean, I think they would blow up Epstein and make him a distraction. Because it's going to take years, right, before anybody gets sentenced or they really figure everything out with that.
Yeah.
It's going to take like a year.
Yeah, we've talked about this. The
I mean,
judicial system does not move quickly.
yeah, and Maxwell doesn't have a court date till like next July of 21. So
Yeah, she makes it.
yeah, I'm sure being taken off suicide watch is, a good step.
Worked well for Epstein. Headlines. I love headlines so much. Sports headlines. Michael Jordan is starting a NASCAR team with Denny Hamlin as their first driver and Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace, our viewers should know, Bubba Wallace was the one who was scared of a garage door opener.
It was a noose, David.
Was it a noose or was it a rope to pull a garage door down? Can we also
a knotted circular end of a rope for a makeshift handle?
Do NASCAR teams not have enough money for electric garage doors?
That's a good question.
Put an electric one in there so Bubba Wallace doesn't get scared. Come on. Anyway, Michael Jordan, a very good basketball player, is now getting into NASCAR. Headlines. Also somewhat sports related, except Tim Tebow hasn't been in sports since, a while. Tim Tebow joins Attorney General Bill Barr to announce a $100 million grant to fight human trafficking.
Whoa.
I like it.
100 million.
It's not
a good chunk
no
of
dollars. It's many dollars.
It's a good chunk of change, my friend.
Let's see how far they get. I'm all for fighting human trafficking. Let's push that forward. Headlines. Cindy McCain, the wife of late John McCain, announced that she is endorsing Biden for president.
Oh, didn't see that one coming.
And her quote, my husband John lived by a code, country first. We are Republicans, yes, but Americans foremost. There's only one candidate in this race who stands up for our values as a nation, and that is Joe Biden. That is what Cindy McCain had to say about that. Maybe it was...
Yeah, wasn't John McCain a rhino Republican in name only?
Yes. Maybe John McCain's dying wish was to endorse Joe Biden.
Maybe. It is the only reasonable explanation, David.
Headlines. The Trump campaign is reportedly discussing contingency plans to bypass election results. Now, this comes from Yahoo News, who is the world leader.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. Apparently, if he loses the election, he's not going to give up his seat. I don't think that's how that works. I think Yahoo is bored. They should stick to Yahoo News was bored. They should stick to fantasy football.
I will say to anybody who thinks Trump will not step down from office, I have full faith in the United States military to do the right thing. Sure.
And I also have faith that Donald Trump would rather go back to, if he loses the election, they might do, depending on all events that happen, assuming there's no voter fraud or mass election fraud or anything like that, I'm sure he'll step down and then just go, build a casino or something. That's what I would do.
President's casino.
Headlines. I'm sure you saw this one. I think you put this in the chat as well. The governor in California is banning the sale of new gas-powered cars starting in 2035, which is only 15 years from now.
Fix climate change. We fixed it. Good job, everybody.
They just had rolling blackouts, right, in California?
Yeah, a couple times. During a heat wave.
Perfect.
Don't worry about
those electric cars love getting charged by... Yes, maybe they'll get charged by the heat of forest fires. I don't know how electric cars are going to be in 15 years. We'll see. They're going to have to get creative
we'll
for
see. Right now
California.
they're powered by coal when you plug them in the wall. Most of them powered by coal.
I only got a few more headlines here. Headlines. Trump has a $500 billion Black America plan that designates KKK and Antifa as terrorist organizations.
Whoa. Let me guess, it was written by all white guys, so nobody wants to vote on it?
Probably. Can we talk about how small the KKK is?
Yeah, it's got to be, what is it? A few thousand people?
Like
10,000 or less?
In the nation? I don't even... can we Google this? Am I going to get raided if we Google this? Is someone going to blow through my door on live camera?
Your keyboard.
I'm going to search this.
Sell you out.
Member count. I don't even know if this... Do they have members? Are they official?
Yeah,
This is going
How do you
poorly.
find that?
In 2019, the report counted... Oh, no, that's how many hate groups.
Hate groups. I like it.
I can't. I literally cannot find a number. I'm going to guess it's minimal. 3? Is it 3? 1 for every K? I have a dog in the studio. There's a dog in my studio.
Pandemonium, ladies and gentlemen.
It's Knox. Knox, what are you doing? You can't be up here, dude. Come here. Come on. He has a bandana on. He wants to show it off. You can't see him because it's dark, and he's African American.
He looks very Negro.
He's can't say that.
It's black. It's Spanish black, bro.
That's true. It is Hispanic Heritage Month, I think. So yes, he's Negro Robusto, strong black. Right. You have to go downstairs. Go downstairs now.
Mocha Robusto.
He is a husky and dachshund mix.
You have a wiener dog husky.
He's dusky.
Is he small like a wiener dog?
He's in between. He's like medium size, and he has husky hair and a husky tail, and he's long like a dachshund.
Oh, that's got to be adorable.
Yeah. His ears are too small for his head, though. Which is why he doesn't listen worth a fuck. Get downstairs! No!
Or his head's too big for his ears.
He's hanging out. He's going to be in the studio. Headlines. I'm going to start with this one. 4th grader virtual learner gets suspended for having a BB gun in his bedroom.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's going to shoot up the school.
That would be his house. He's going to shoot up his house.
Laptop.
Maybe he was threatening to shoot his laptop with a BB gun. I wouldn't let him back to his laptop either.
Yeah. The hysteria, man. I don't know. I'm sure they're making. I'm sure somebody somewhere is wearing a mask on their virtual education too.
It's a crazy world we live in. This is the headline I'm most excited about. I'm so excited I sent it to you in a text message, not just a group chat. Very excited about this. I've been saying for a while there's going to be debates. Headlines. There's a presidential debate coming up. I don't even need to read the headline. Doesn't matter. Who's ready for this?
Let's get it. I'm ready, dude.
I think we're gonna do something fun with the presidential debate. I don't know what yet. I think we should do a bet on the presidential debate. What are the odds? Can you do bets on this? You know, like the over-unders and stuff. What's the over-under on one of the presidential candidates contracting COVID?
Ooh.
It's probably low. I'd take those odds. Put a buck in.
Yeah, there's going to be 5 subjects that's it's going to be monitored by Chris Wallace, anchor from Fox News, right?
Mhm.
5 subjects. They're going to go after Trump and Biden's records. They're going to go after the Supreme Court picks, COVID pandemic, violence in American cities, and 5th, the election integrity
Mm.
will be the 5 main focal points of the first presidential debate of the 2020 election cycle. You want to just give our brief summary of what we think is going to happen, David?
Sure.
I think Trump's going to lose.
Well,
I think Biden's going to outperform Trump because Trump is relying. I think Trump's going to rely on Biden either messing up and like stroking out or something. But I think Biden is going to get a lot more talking points out than Trump is.
so I'm interested to see this. To be honest with you, I don't know what's going to happen. Trump can't flub this because this is the most. I mean, this is a fastball right down the middle. You got to knock this thing out of the park if you're Donald Trump. He crushed.
Yeah, we're at 37 days to the election. 37.
He dominated Hillary Clinton in all the debate performances, in my opinion, at least. And he dominated all the Republicans in the preliminaries, which is a large part of the reason he even got to debate Hillary Clinton. I think Donald Trump is is dumb as some of the things he says. He's a very good debater.
Yeah.
For not being a trained politician or anything like that, he can debate.
He shoots from the hip really good, man.
Yeah. And that probably just comes from the nature of his just him growing up, what he's had to go through. Everything's quick-witted. He can handle himself.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I'm excited. I look forward to Tuesday for sure.
Yeah. What I'm not looking forward to, Chris Wallace is not looking forward to him. I don't like Chris Wallace. He tries way too hard to be. He tries so hard to be impartial. He ends up being partial to the other. I don't want to say the other side. He ends up being partial to the Democrats, in my opinion.
He'll ask a Republican with a Democratic question.
Like he's trying so hard because he's on Fox News. He's trying so hard to not be like the right-wing biased Fox News guy that he goes too far the other way.
Is that what you have for headlines, my friend?
That's what I got for headlines. That segment was headlines, and it was. We went over this last time. Last time it was brought to you by Bud Light, which it wasn't.
Yeah. I have no sponsor for this episode. I have no drink. Okay, so I got a couple notes here, a couple pages in my little journal here. I guess I'll start with swing states in the election, considering the debate's coming, so I'm sure this is going to be a talking point with everybody. And I'd also like to touch on polls here after this.
Sure.
But so far, Biden is up in like almost every swing state. Some of them pretty significantly, but he's up in Florida, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, North Carolina, Arizona, Wisconsin, and Iowa. Trump is up in Georgia and South Carolina. There's other states, that aren't quite in play but could be in play. Ohio may be a big turning point, they're speculating. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll hear about numbers, especially when it comes to the record of these candidates. I don't know what validity the polls have in 2020, considering 16 was super wrong. Maybe polling got better or their sampling size got crappier. Either way, those are the battleground states. We keep seeing these polls floating in the media about how majority of Americans believe that the winner of the election in 2020 should pick the Supreme Court nomination. A couple things here. One,
Can I put my? I want to put my thing in there first.
Yeah, what?
You ready for this? I don't care what they think.
Yeah, where in the Constitution does it say that we have to go with public opinion on every choice that government makes?
It's irrelevant. We have a nomination, and I hope Senate rams her through.
I think this touches a couple things. It touches on the way the media influences the people, and also how little the people understand their founding documents that set up the basic framework for their government. I don't think they understand both of those things separate or together. But yeah, we keep seeing about how the SCOTUS pick should be by the winner because of precedent and Obama. And it's funny because the Republicans are using the same laws that the Democrats passed to shove through a nomination and set up a filibuster. It's just they're playing the politics over the last few picks, and
Yeah. Well, it was their
a
fault.
lot of these times when you get to the bottom of these polls too, they oversample like they did in 16. So out of the 80% of people that answered, all of them were Democrats. The 80% of them were Democrats. So we're not getting 1-for-1 ratios. Once again, these are just things we'll be hearing.
Polling should almost always be based on likely voters, first of all, because they have that data. They know who's more likely to vote. And it should be I don't know, who tends to vote. You should be able to put a fairly decent sample in there. You should know it might not be 50-50, but you should know about who's going to vote and about which way they're going to lean. You should be able to poll fairly accurately, and I don't think they do it, and I think they don't do it on purpose.
Yeah, for sure. The oversampling was a big thing in 16. Most people don't read the body of the article, but they're right at the bottom. They give you the plus and minus about within the.
Your face is missing.
Yeah, I'm getting there. While you're within the if you're plus or minus within the margin of error. So yeah, we'll see. Polls, I don't trust them either. Like I said, they've been wrong. They're always going to be wrong. You can make statistics do anything with numbers. They're beautiful things.
Sure.
A quick thing about the Supreme Court. I don't want to drag this on too long because we're going to hear about this all week. Came out this weekend that Donald Trump is going to select Amy Coney Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
Barnett. I'm sorry. Barnett? Barrett?
Should I pretend like I know who that is, or should I just...
I don't know who she is. I read some articles that people are worried. The Supreme Court nomination now apparently is going to be a rally point to protect Obamacare, also known as the Affordable Care Act, because this woman in particular has said things about it and how she doesn't believe it's constitutional. So there's many lawmakers and public officials talking about how healthcare, reproductive rights for women are on the line and how they're basically going to get rid of our rights. This has been a common thing in the Trump administration, especially that one person, whatever one person does is going to ruin the world or change life or go over the bounds of government. All these illegal things are going to happen from one person. The one Supreme Court nomination that gets picked is not going to overrule. Roe v. Wade is not going to get overturned. The Affordable Care Act is not going to get overturned. This is hyperbole. This is political juice to squeeze into the Biden campaign to get that guy up and running.
So, to your point, I remember Betsy DeVos, she's like the Secretary of Education. I remember there being a big outcry about her and how she was going to ruin everything. I don't know how people feel about it now. It seems like nothing's changed. I mean, your kids still go to school and you still don't pay for it, so shut up.
Right.
In the terms of the Supreme Court justice, since this would, in theory, give a majority to the... I hate talking about this because it's supposed to be a non-bias, but let's stop the bullshit. We all know it's bias. This, in theory, would give the Republicans the advantage in the Supreme Court. So isn't it possible that it's a logical fear for the Democrats that Roe v. Wade and Affordable Care Act get overturned?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think. I think honestly, I don't know if they're gonna get this girl confirmed or not. This woman confirmed.
I don't. To be clear, again, I don't know who she is offhand. I don't know every justice in the world, so sorry. I'm going to do research on her and I'll figure out if I like her or not. But if she is even remotely as good as the first two justices that he put on the court, I hope Senate rams her through. What was it, 37 days till election?
37.
Okay, I hope they have her by Tuesday at about 4 o'clock. I hope she's the Supreme Court justice.
Only if government moved as fast as the military. The only thing, like I said, I've known she's against Obamacare, they say, and that she's also, I'll be paraphrasing, but they don't like her strong Christian faith.
Sure.
And she says they've quoted her by saying that she's here as a juror, as a justice, to build the kingdom of God. So this woman is very religious, obviously drawing into the conservative natures of these picked that the president has picked. We'll definitely be hearing more about this throughout the whole week between the debate. It's going to be a hot topic for the next week, so we'll probably have more breakdown next week of actually the things going on with that. But
yeah, the next week's going to be a big one. We're going to talk debate, and we're going to talk some more Supreme Court justice. So that should be a big one.
Yeah. So like I said, healthcare's under fire in the SCOTUS pick because it's anti-Obamacare, and I want to just touch base on something else with Obamacare because Trump ran in 2016 on repeal and replacing Obamacare with something that is better, cheaper, and does more things. We have not seen that for whatever reason, whether it be they can't make a deal or lobbying or doing something, whatever. They haven't been able to do it. So there was legislation getting written up about how basically there's areas of Obamacare that the Trump administration is like rebranding to make it seem like it's almost his own thing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that he's taking elements of Obamacare and then, putting them in his healthcare thing.
Yeah. It's still there. It's still there in theory, but they did gut the individual mandate, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that is the biggest thing.
Which was a core principle of Obamacare. The main funding element.
Yeah, it's really the thing we've seen in Obamacare. But I just bring it up because, I've said this before about Trump. He doesn't do him any good when he trash talks people. So I think Obamacare, him running, like acting like he's doing all of these amazing things with it when he hasn't really actually done much other than the mandate, which is huge to some degree. But overall, he didn't fulfill a promise. He didn't do this drastic thing. I don't think he should be standing on. I don't think he should be standing on Obama's legacy and running. Running not a smear campaign. I'm not trying to be like the media, but I just think the way that the Trump administration is handling it is not going to be perceived in a good way. But it is funny to me because they say this is almost like a lame duck term for the president, obviously, because we're in the election cycle. But it's funny that the media, they always attack Trump for not having plans how to fix things. He'll just say, we're going to repeal or replace Obamacare. And they're like, well, how are you going to do it? They're like, well, we'll make it cheaper. We'll make a beautiful plan. And they always rip on him for it, which they should. We should press these politicians to have actual substance to these bills and things they want done. But when the Democratic Party whole entire campaign speech is that they're not Trump, the media doesn't drill them. So it's this continual thing of one thing is washing the other thing away almost. Mm-hmm. And the lesser of two evils thing is building higher and higher towards election day, which is how most people vote. So, and another quick thing on voting, I keep seeing more commercials on TV now and promoting of voting. I don't think there's ever been this much public pushing in the public eye for people to vote.
Only thing I could remember, this was a long time ago. This might be when Bush was running for his first term. I don't know what he goes by these days. Puff Daddy?
It's Diddy.
P. Diddy? Is it just Diddy? Did he drop the P?
Just Diddy. Vote or die.
Vote or die was a big thing, and then they apparently just died. And now the NFL's running. You can't watch a football game without watching the NFL Go Vote campaign or whatever it's called.
Yeah, yep. They're turning out one of the stadiums into a voting booth for people. They're doing it somewhere here locally. My mom told me. I forgot who it was though. What they were doing. They're gonna close down not New Era Field, not where the Bills play, but they were doing something.
Yeah. So we can't go watch them play football, but we can go there to vote.
Go to Walmart, fine.
Neat.
Just a couple more things here. I got some COVID front news here.
COVID news.
China wins the COVID. China wins the COVID vaccine race.
Yep. Oh, all right. I mean, they were the first to have it too, so.
Yeah. So
It's like
there's always that. I don't trust China. I think they're lying fucks, and if anything, they probably stole our research and then just slapped a communist bumper sticker on it and called it
they would
Chinese
not
invention.
have any trademark infringements.
Hey. They've only, lobbied politicians. They've only had teachers work for them. They've only had people steal things from us with computers the size of a grain of rice. Don't worry about China. They're not a threat. Other COVID news. A woman in Ohio was tased at a high school because she did not have a mask on at an outside
Saw
game.
this. Yes.
They have a video out of it. It's kind of funny. Everybody just sits there. The cop kind of does his thing, tases her. Apparently, she had asthma, and apparently she had a broken arm. So I don't know. I just think we should highlight the point that it's amazing we're holding different things in our heads. We got to wear a mask, but if we're outside, we're okay. Politicians do it. Sports is doing it. I don't wear a mask when I'm outside. I don't care if I can't maintain social distance or not. I don't. I'm outside.
Is that a HIPAA violation? The police officer tasing her, even though she had asthma and can't wear a mask.
So I wonder. Yeah, she's not supposed to. There is medical literature that speaks about that. So I wonder what's going to happen if anything on that. I just thought it was a funny COVID thing because of we've broken down here on the podcast the way masks are interpreted in the ether. Last bit of COVID front though, Florida is opening 100%. They said they can't handle the economic fallout anymore. Small business owners are very happy. They're saying, I had rent due, I had this due. If I wasn't opening, I'd be in severe trouble. This is coming in the same week that COVID has killed 200,000 Americans, and it's up around 7 to 8 million cases. Mm-hmm. I was doing some research over the weekend from March. I was looking up news articles, and the White House documents, Dr. Fauci himself said, COVID is going to kill anywhere between 100,000 and 260,000 people. We are at 200,000. So for anybody that says anything about...
Like within a year?
Yeah. It's the way it was. They didn't give a timeline, but that's what Fauci said. He said our predictions, our models are saying this.
Sure.
And they said that's even with social distancing, wearing masks. They said, this is what we're looking at. So I'm not saying this is a good thing because it's within the parameters of their analytics, but so far they're doing okay as far as handling what they thought this was going to turn into. Now, Fauci also did say, 200,000 people is too many. We're not going to let it get that high. So take it with what you will, with whatever opinion you want to have. I just figured we'd make a mention that Florida's opening during the same week when it looks like we're having second surges. And there's graphs out right now that I've seen earlier that it's the middle of the country getting hit, and that is COVID is going to be a regional thing. Like, it got started in New York, went to West Coast, went to Florida, went through the South. Now it's in the mid heart of the country. Arizona has outbreaks. So this has just been slowly working its way through the population, which was something that was always said. But yeah, Florida's opening up because I think they understand what's at stake in the next decade as far as their economy. I just got 2 more points here, my friend. There's lots of worries. This is something that will come up at the debates. There's lots of worries right now about a peaceful transfer of power. I know we touched relatively shortly on this, but once again, I trust the military. I know this is going to be a point because, especially with the election integrity is one of those talking points at the debates on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Just let's try to avoid the propaganda with it. I think Trump is he's being Trump, obviously. This is obviously a ruse. This is him playing politics. This is him playing hardball. I don't think Trump is going to fight to leave. I just think he's using it to paint his points about what he has put out about mail-in voting and worrying about fraud. So take it what you will. Just don't get caught up in the brainwashing. There will be a peaceful transfer of power. It's happened every time in American history, and I have full faith in the military to execute that. And on the last bit, I'm sorry, I have one other point. But first, Spotify employees threatened to strike over Joe Rogan's podcast with his controversial material with certain guests.
So we brought this up. We brought this up a little bit last week. It was one of our headlines. Apparently, Spotify employees were not pumped with Joe Rogan's transphobic nature.
So now this is week 2 of this. We spoke last week about how the media is going to blackball Joe Rogan because of his influence. He's an independent content creator. He has on controversial ideas. He's the new media. If as the dinosaur media dies out, Joe is replacing him along with other people. So we'll see what happens. I just want to reference it because this says intensifying now. This is week number 2, and I think we can finish it off at least on my notes. RBG's funeral is in Washington this week. She's the first woman to ever lie in D.C. in the state capitol. And it looked like a peaceful ceremony. I did not pay any attention to it other than it was history. RBG, say what you will about her politics, lived a crazy life, and she kicked ass. So another first for her. She made history, and hopefully Trump can nominate this and fill the seat and make history again.
Sure. Absolutely. And on that, I was going to say on that note of Supreme Court justices, I had one other thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
It was actually somebody, one of our own, one of the 5 admins, they posted on their personal Facebook page, and this, to me, was something I never really thought about, but I thought it was interesting. Jeremy posted something about Supreme Court justices and basically a strategic exit of the justice, so you don't end up in a situation. Again, the court's political. We don't need to act like it isn't. So basically, strategic exits of justices so that your parties, can put your replacement in. So instead of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, dying and now, Donald Trump's president, we're in trouble. In 2006, she just retired, knowing Barack Obama would have 2 years to find a replacement for her. It's just something I want to bring up because it was an interesting point. I never really thought about it before, but I think it'd probably be smart, don't you think?
Well, especially if you're so worried about the peaceful transition of power, especially right now, that's the new talking point cooked up in the media. If you're so worried about it, yeah. This is something I've said about Trump since the beginning. People are like, he's going to cause nuclear war with China and North Korea and all these other countries. It's like, well, Obama had that power. You didn't care. Bill Clinton had the power. You didn't care. George Bush had the power. You didn't care. You only care because you're told about it to care. It's amazing that some people are happy with the power the president has, and then when it's somebody on the other side of the aisle, they're upset about it. We should be focusing on both sides and what that power is and why it's dangerous to the people.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
definitely.
it's funny that they're having all these selective worries, but if their party was in power, they'd be, Obama ran on filling the seat in his last year of presidency. There was the pictures came out, fill the seat, all that. Same problem.
The problem Obama ran into was he didn't have enough people in Senate to ram his person through where Trump does.
And that's just the thing, right? Because in the media they make it sound like they deliberately like, no, the winner should pick it. It's like, no, dude. The reason they didn't go to vote is because they had Republican majority.
Right.
Like exactly it didn't matter if Obama picked; they weren't getting their pick. And that filibuster was a law passed by Democrats years ago. So it's like the Republicans used the Democrat playbook against them, and it hurt them.
Yeah, don't for a second be fooled and think that if the Democrats had Senate majority in 2016, there wouldn't be an Obama pick that got rammed through. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's really the moral of this, right? It's like, I'm not defending Trump or whatever. I think he should pick to ram it through because strategically, that's what they're looking at. They're playing politics. But this is happening on both sides, and they're both using each other. Like I said, the Democrats passed the filibuster law for the Senate Judiciary Committee to begin with. That gave Republicans the power to steamroll the Obama administration from not picking their Supreme Court in the last year of Obama's presidency that allowed Trump to pick it when he won. Yeah. That's what that is. Yeah. Yes, they are saying it set a precedent. Yes, they are correct. They did stop Obama. Yes, but the reason is because it wouldn't have passed. And the media doesn't tell you that because they have to paint the narrative and give ammo for Joe Biden at this debate on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. It all came down 37 days to this election. Gloves are really coming off, man. Yeah. So this is going to be an exciting week. We're going to hear probably a lot about the Supreme Court and the debate.
That's going to be the big, that's going to be the big news.
That's going to be the main meat and potatoes next week.
Well, That's a perfect time to end it, I think. If you don't have anything
Yeah.
else.
No, that was all I had, my friend. It's good seeing and talking to everybody. Thank you for sticking around and watching to the end. If you like the video, share the video. This is Ryan, joined by Dave from December 17th, 73. Don't forget to subscribe and become part of December Nation to keep in touch with all of our content on all of our pages. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, everybody.
Awesome. Bottom right of the screen, subscribe, become part of December Nation. We will see everybody next week, Monday at 7.
Later, bud.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah, man, later.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.